श्रुति स्मृति पुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शंकरं लोकशंकरं शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवत् व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणी। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुः सुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः। देवाय तस्मै नमः। Okay. Yeah, Priya, are you available? Go ahead and unmute yourself. Chanting from number 16. एवं प्रवर्तितं चक्रम्
एवं प्रवर्तितुं चक्रम्
प्रवर्तितं चक्रम्
प्रवर्तितं चक्रम्
नानुवर्तयतीह यः
नानुवर्तयतीह यः
अघायुरिन्द्रियारामः
अगायुरिन्द्रियारामः
मोघं पार्थ स जीवति
मोघं पार्थ स जीवति
यस्त्वात्मरतिरेव स्यात्
यस्त्वात्मरतिरेव स्यात्
आत्मतृप्तश्च मानवः
आत्मतृप्तश्च मानवः
आत्मन्येव च सन्तुष्टः
आत्मन्येव च सन्तुष्टः
तस्य कार्यं न विद्यते
तस्य कार्यं न विद्यते
नैव तस्य कृतेनार्थः
नैव तस्य कृतेनार्थः
नाकृते नेह कश्चन
नाकृतेनेह कश्चन
न चास्य सर्वभूतेषु
न चास्य सर्वभूतेषु
कश्चिदर्थव्यपाश्रयः
कश्चिदर्थव्यपाश्रयः
तस्मादसक्तः सततम्
tasmad asaktah satatam
karyam karma samachara
karyam karma samachara
asakto hyacharan karma
asakto hyacharan karma
paramapnoti purushah.
paramapnoti purushah.
So today we will be doing number 20. Karma naivahi
Karma naivahi
samsiddhim
samsiddhim
asthitaha
astitah
janakadayah
janakadayah
lokasangraham
lokasangraham
evapi
evapi
sampashyan
sampashyan
kartumarhasi
kartumarhasi
karma naivahi samsiddhim
karma naivahi samsiddhim
आस्थित जनकादयः
astita janakadayah
लोकसङ्ग्रहमेवापि
lokasangrahamevapi
सम्पश्यन् कर्तुमर्हसि.
sampashyan kartumarhasi.
So having described that cosmic cycle, Krishna said, recognize that cycle and recognize that everything you do is a yagnya. Do actions recognizing your action as a yagnya and as an offering. And then he said in number 19 that when one does that and one does not get carried away by one's likes and dislikes, then paramapnoti purushaha. That attitude, that vision, leading a life with that kind of a vision, with the attitude that tasmat sarvagatam brahma nityam yagne pratishthitam. So that brahma, that vedas is all pervasive, Ishvara is all pervasive. They're all identical statements. Okay. And we should not think Veda is some book. The idea that it is a book. Knowledge is printed in a book, no doubt. And it's only a print finally. And it's only pages, it's only a piece of paper. But the knowledge has to happen here. And a book is useless if it is not understood. And that's why so much prayer here. And so, having said that, now he is saying, Karmanaivahi samsiddhim asthita janakadayaha. He's saying the wise people, Arjuna's position is, okay, now I want to study and then I want to come with you. This is the idea. And Krishna is saying, okay, even if you're a wise person, hey Arjuna, you need not give up activity. You need not give up what you're supposed to do. Don't think wise people are special. They get a certificate. Okay, these people are great people, and no, so they're all free. They can do whatever they want. They need not do anything. Not like that. Even though there is some truth to that. And Krishna is going to say, he's going to give an example here. Okay. So it is true that a wise person recognizes an important fact. And what is that fact? The fact, among many other things, the fact about the self is that the self is not a doer. And what about others? Well, one who is still in the process of knowing, or one who is not aware of any of these facts. So you can say that person is it's an aviveki. Aviveki means one who is not, who is just leading a life like anybody else. And whatever I like, I do. Whatever I don't like, I don't do. This kind of life, and with no proper guidance and things like that. So that person is going to be led by those likes and dislikes, raaga, dwesha. And so ishtachara. So that person, whatever achara he does, whatever he does, she does, is going to be based on ishta, like. Then here Krishna told samachara in the previous shloka. Samachara, do things which are based on dharma and adharma. And then even more than dharma and adharma, you recognize this chakram, this chakram that was described, you recognize that. And that person is a viveki. And more than a viveki, that person is a mumukshu also. These are all technical words which are not difficult to follow. Mumukshu, one who desires moksha, is called a mumukshu. It's a technical word. And so that person is obviously a different kind of person, because a person is willing to change one's behavior, one's lifestyle, one's way of thinking, so that it takes that person towards moksha. So very different attitude, obviously. And so that person, that person is described here. Arjuna is a mumukshu, and even a mumukshu has to perform duties. There is no getting away from performing duties. And what about a jnani, a wise person? Wise person is a little tricky, because the person recognizes this fact that Atma is not a doer, and I have all along mistaken myself to be a doer, to be an actor, and thereby superimposed all the attributes of the body, mind, and everything on Atma, on the self. We will learn more about it as we go along. And that mistake was recognized. So what happens when a person recognizes that they are not an actor, really speaking? Actions happen, but I'm not an actor. Is that possible? Yes, Krishna says it's possible. But then here, Krishna is advancing an argument. Really speaking, when that person recognizes that fact, then we talked about it a couple of classes ago, that person has nothing to do. Naiva tasya kritenarthaha na kriteneha kaschana. Just now Krishna said. So there is nothing to be done for that person. There is no such thing as to be done. And there is no such thing as not to be done. This idea is not there for that person. Why? Because actions are done in order to become secure, in order to accomplish something, etc. And that idea is not there for the person, wise person. But here, is making a point, Krishna is making a point that there are people. He gives the example of a king, Janaka. So the word there to note is Janakadayaha. Janakadayaha. Janakadaya means Janaka, etc. Janaka was a king. Okay. And king of this Videha, kingdom called Videha. Okay. Of course, Sita's father, we all know that. And Janaki. That's why Sita is called Janaki. So Koshala. So here is India. Okay, India is like this and then like this. Okay, you have to imagine. And the today's Bihar and Jharkhand. Okay, to the northeast, right? Bihar, Jharkhand. That area, that area was the region of Mithila, called Mithila. And within that region, there was a kingdom called Videha. That is the geographical position of this kingdom. And Janaka was the king of that kingdom. That is why Sita is also sometimes called as Vaidehi, the daughter of Videha, also called Maithili. Maithili, daughter of the kingdom of Mithila, right? So these words are not just random words, they're all coming, etymologically derived also. So that Janaka, it was known that he was a wise person. He was a Jnani. And he was as good as a rishi. And he has had debates with Ashtavakra, and he used to, some person walking on the street and just walking around like a madcap, and he knocked on the door of the king and he said, I want to meet the king. And these people, these chowkidar said, Kaun hai yaar? Get out of here, you can't meet the king. And this Janaka was watching all this, and he said, come on, let him in, I want to meet him. And so there's that famous story about the Ashtavakra, the dialogue between Janaka and Ashtavakra. And so like that, Janaka was a wise person. He's not an ordinary person. But he was a king also. This is the thing. He was a king. So what does Janaka do? Should he say, no, everything is Ishvara, and I am also Ishvara, and Ishvara is me, and I'm Akarta, I'm Abhokta, I'm not the enjoyer, I'm not the doer. And then do nothing. If he does nothing, the whole kingdom is going to suffer. A leader cannot behave like that. So here example of Janaka was given because Janaka was a just king. He was doing everything that a king should do, a leader should do. King means a prime minister or a president these days. We cannot visualize kings because we did not live in the period of kings. But he did whatever was supposed to be done. So his phone was constantly ringing, Swamiji would say. And all cabinet ministers, seeking his attention, this and that. And Supreme Court appointment, judge appointments will come up. And water and treasury and this department and that, and education, all these things are going on in his kingdom. And so he was a busy man. And so that person is quoted here, a wise person, yet somebody who did things and what he was supposed to do, and without bringing that wisdom in, meaning without having to tell anybody that I am a different person. No, why? There's no need for doing all that. He was a king. He did what a king should do. Okay, that was given. That example was given here. Janaka, Adaya, Janaka, etc. etc. means people like that. There were many people like that. Janaka, Ashwapati, etc. And so it's very one another fact we learn from this is the fact that Krishna is quoting Janaka means that so that's where this example comes, and it's clear that Janaka had lived before Krishna. So this is another evidence to show Ramayana had happened before Mahabharata. Mahabharata comes later, and long after Ramayana we've got Mahabharata. So he's quoting Janaka. So like that we have some instances in Mahabharata also. And Draupadi quotes Sita, and she says, these stories of Itihasa is all going to the forest stories, and punishment stories. All these dharmic people get punished and struggle all the time. And so she quotes, Draupadi quotes Sita. Sita went with Rama to the forest. Therefore, I must also come with you. Okay, that was her argument. And so Arjuna's questions will come in this area, right? And already he wants to run away from this battlefield. Not run away. He doesn't want to fight. That's all. Not running. He's not afraid of fighting. But he got confused because Drona and Bhishma are standing in front of him. And he's sure he's going to decimate Drona and Bhishma. That's not his problem. Okay. His problem is not, oh, Drona, how am I going to fight my teacher Drona? My teacher Drona. That is the problem. How can I point my arrows to my teacher at my teacher? This is just too much. I can't handle that. And that's the problem. This is why the whole Bhagavad Gita comes because of that fundamental problem. But Arjuna does say, recognizes his confusion, and therefore he says, please teach me. That's why Krishna is telling him all these things. And here, so again, action and knowledge. Action and knowledge. That is how some of this discussion will go. And there was a question in the satsang, last satsang. And the question was, can action produce knowledge? Or something like that. The question was that. Can action produce knowledge? So we have to spend some time on these topics. We've taken a lot for granted, and we assume so many things. And so we are beginning to appreciate that knowledge always is. Knowledge cannot be produced. Okay, very important, very, very seminal ideas in our Shastram. And not just our Shastram, it is applicable everywhere else also. Knowledge is not produced, period. And it just happens that everybody is ignorant of penicillin, everybody is ignorant of all these medical advances. And so the person who first comes up with that person is called, he produced that knowledge. No, he doesn't produce the knowledge. Knowledge is always there for that person to tap into. And we recognize him, no doubt. We salute him, we honor him. No problem with that. And we respect, we do that. That's very important. But knowledge always is. Knowledge is not produced. If knowledge is not produced, then action. Produce means action by action. Action does not produce knowledge. Okay? Any knowledge, action does not produce. But that doesn't mean you can stop. The children are listening to this talk. And then children comes to the father and says, no, Dad, your Guruji said knowledge does not produce, or action does not produce knowledge. I think I will stop going to school from tomorrow. I agree with your Guruji. You may not agree, but I agree with your Guruji. And I'm not going to school from tomorrow. This is going to school and all. It's all action. You don't know what action is? Going to school is an action. Packing the bag is an action. Opening the book is an action. Listening to the teacher is an action. Action doesn't produce knowledge. I'm going to sit right here. So this can happen. Okay. But then we can't say that, because you got to do all those things in order to know. And we said that that ignorance has to go. So we have to create situations that are conducive for that ignorance to go. And for that creation of the situation, action is needed. Whatever action is to be done is needed. That's what we do here. So therefore, when we say action does not produce knowledge, it is true, directly does not produce knowledge. Indirectly, through antah-karana-shuddhi, through removal of ignorance, knowledge is as though produced, but really not produced. It just becomes aware. My mind, it shines in my mind. A fact becomes obvious to me after some time. Okay. So why karma does not produce moksha? Very important. If my definition of moksha is going to heaven, then karma produces moksha, because that moksha requires a lot of karma, a lot of bhakti is needed, and I must be in the good books of so many people. and I must be in the good books of God and so on and so forth, and there are so many things I must do, then God will be pleased with me and he will take me to heaven after I die. Okay, so there is a going involved, and going means it's karma. It's a result of an action, and only action can make me go. And I can't simply sit somewhere and say I want to go somewhere. Not possible. Therefore, action produces that moksha. When moksha is defined in that manner, how did we define moksha here? Moksha means recognizing one's true nature as being limitless. That is moksha. That whole Jagat is Brahma, and that Brahma is limitless, and that limitless is Atma also. There's no difference between Brahma and Atma. And therefore, the whole world is me. The whole world is Atma. This is the vision. Now, how can you produce the limitless? So I'll give you 2 or 3 reasons why action cannot produce moksha. Okay, just note it and then you can think about it. Okay, one is Atma is limitless, and I want to produce the limitless. I want to produce fullness, and action is limited. By definition, action is limited. Whatever action you say, it's limited. Even the big actions governments do, they're all limited only. And limited action, how can it produce the limitless? Not possible. Limited action, limited result. Whatever is the quality of the action will be there in the result. That's all. So, limited action cannot produce the limitless. That is one reason. So, next reason. Atma always is ajaha, not born, nityaha, okay, or eternal. Atma was, Atma is, Atma will always be. What always is cannot be created. Why should you create something that is always there, is there? Okay. So this Bhakta was praying to Lord Vishnu, and then finally Vishnu came. Vishnu came and say, "Hey Bhakta, I'm so happy with you, and you've been doing so much tapas, and ask me whatever you want, I'll give you." And the Bhakta said, "I want a head. I want a head." I want a head means you, you want another head, because you are inspired by Ravana and all these people. And in Tamil Nadu, they try to portray Ravana as a hero, and Rama is the devil. You know, these kinds of mischief, these our people are capable of doing. And so this guy wants another head. Do you want another head? No, I don't want another head. I want a head. I want a head means now Krishna is confused. See, this Bhakta is capable of confusing Vishnu also. I want a head, but you already have a head. Are you saying you want something in your head? I don't have anything in my head, and please make me better. I want to use my mind properly. Make me intelligent. Make me know things, etc. Is that what you want? No, I want a head. So Vishnu can't do anything. Vishnu cannot give a head to this Bhakta, even though Vishnu is Bhagavan and he can do anything he wants, but can't do something that already exists. Right? Vishnu cannot produce a head that already exists. What already exists cannot be produced. Okay? Not possible. You can try it. Create a refrigerator that you have in your home. You can buy 2 refrigerators, one in this bedroom, another in that bedroom. You can do all that you can do, but you cannot create an object that already exists. Not possible. Not possible, not needed. Okay. So that's the second reason why that Atma Siddha Vastu. And think about these things. And therefore what, and then another reason I'll give you. Action is born of ignorance. Write that down if you have not heard. Action is born of ignorance. What is this, Jagmohanji? This is too confusing. How can action? Are you saying that all the things we do are all we're all ignorant people are all? What is this? I don't understand that. Action is born of ignorance. Yeah. So now we know what the purusharthas are. Okay. Everything a human being does is meant to get the purusharthas, dharma, artha, and kama. Correct? Are we really satisfying that? Are we really? Can we ever say we are totally secure? No, we cannot say that. But yet we do become secure. Some relative security, ananda, pleasure is all there. It's all there. Relatively, all these things are happening. That's why we are always doing things to accomplish various ends. But then moksha is sitting on the side. And we've already defined what moksha is. Moksha is ignorance about the true nature of myself. Not knowing that my nature is ananda. Not knowing that I am the one that is causing all this happiness. This happiness, so-called happiness, comes from me. No object in this world can give me any happiness. Even though we need things to happen in a good way, so we can be happy. That is okay. But that happiness is really me. That knowledge is not there. And therefore, that ignorance is there, and the ignorance is what makes me pursue the happiness. That is why we say ignorance is the cause of action. Very, very profound thoughts these are. Okay. If ignorance is the cause of action, how can that action remove ignorance? Ignorance is the mother of action. How can that action be opposed to ignorance? A product cannot be opposed to its cause. Correct? So, parents are brown, therefore my skin also is brown. Parents are black, therefore my skin also is black. Parents are both fair, the child also is fair. Right? Result is like the cause of the result. Nothing can be done to change it. And therefore, karma cannot oppose ignorance. Karma cannot oppose ignorance, cannot remove ignorance. Third reason I've given you. Okay. Third reason is what? Karma is born of ignorance, therefore it cannot be opposed to ignorance. It cannot remove ignorance. Therefore, we say moksha cannot be produced by action. Fourth reason also you can give, hey, if moksha is understanding the reality, right? Understanding can happen only one way. Ignorance can be removed only in one way. Like this guy who was searching for his glasses. Right? All along glasses were here. And I don't know how they came up with this example. Such amazing example. Just works all the time. So, and all along glasses are there. And he's looking for his glasses. Tell me. Never any amount of action, however powerful, this guy can be the chief of police. Doesn't help, doesn't matter. Great degrees, PhDs, doesn't matter. Big vidwan, musician, doesn't matter. Gets up early in the morning and then does tapas, doesn't matter. Correct? Why? How come it doesn't matter? All these things don't matter? No, doesn't matter. Because the glasses are already there. Glasses are already there. You can't produce it. Therefore, karma cannot produce moksha. Okay? That person has to know that, yes, oh, I made a mistake. I already had the glasses all along. That recognition, that is removal of ignorance. That is knowledge. Only knowledge can give moksha. That is our thesis here. Think about it. And so, with that being said, Krishna here is saying that here, so this action and knowledge being kind of two different tracks, as though two different tracks. And so Krishna advising Arjuna that it's okay if you're wise. Hey Arjuna, if you're already enlightened, then also you must do what you're supposed to do. Okay, you must do what you're supposed to do. You can't walk away from this, because this is you are in a position where you're asked to do, and you can't say no. You can't say I'm this, I'm that, and all. You can't say. And there is an expectation. You are the de facto king here, and so you must act. And so that action becomes spontaneous for a wise person. See, look at this. These things we need to. For a wise person, action will be spontaneous. Action will be automatic. Even though the person is not a doer. Lack of doership does not mean lack of action. Absence of doership does not mean absence of action. That's all. That is the important thing to remember, right? Absence of kartritvam does not mean absence of action. Okay, that we must remember. And the difference between a wise person and another person is that for a wise person, actions are not done with a specific end in mind. Actions are not done for becoming more secure, because there is nothing more secure than Atma. Therefore, that person's actions, then what defines that person's action? Prarabdha karma defines that person's actions. Prarabdha karma, because that person also had a karma account. Sanchita karma is there, prarabdha karma is there. And that prarabdha that brought this body into being, and that prarabdha, whatever that person was born with, and whatever the person's inclinations are, that will continue. That's why they say the wise person has no free will. If you have heard that statement, no free will is there, because free will is there only when there is ignorance. Okay, free will is there only for the ignorant person. Well, so for the wise person also, free will is there. A person can say, yeah, I will not, I will do this, I won't do this. All that is going on. But really speaking, that's a result of prarabdha. Prarabdha takes over. That is our vision here. And so for a wise person, prarabdha decides what the person does. And for everybody else, yeah, free will is there. And dharmartha kama is there. And for anybody, for some wise person, prarabdha decides whatever happens. What about everybody else? Well, prarabdha is there for everybody. All of us have prarabdha, no doubt. Okay. And then there is free will also. Both are there. Like what? Like a person wants to cross the river, cross a stream to the other bank. Okay. And the stream is flowing. And he rows the boat. Correct? Rows the boat. That action of rowing is free will. But the prarabdha is there. This river is flowing. The stream is flowing. That is prarabdha. It takes the person to different place. So if the person wants to go there, then he has to row, and based on where the boat is going, it may become very easy for them. All he has to do is do a little like this, and the river just takes him there. Or maybe going against the current. Going against the current, because maybe even have to row against the current. Because prarabdha. So prarabdha is working against me. My own prarabdha working against me. And one has to work hard. Work hard to achieve the same result that somebody else, without studying much, passed the exam very well. And somebody else works very hard and still struggles and struggles. Why? Because free will is there, prarabdha also at work. Prarabdha at work. So that's how it works for all of us. That's why we can never say, whatever I am getting, is it due to me or is it due to prarabdha? Is it due to my free will in this life or due to my prarabdha? Hard to say. Where prarabdha stops and where free will begins. Hard to say. In fact, impossible to say. Why hard to say? Impossible. And so, why we had this discussion? Jnani, free will is not a factor. For everybody else, free will is a factor. And still, Janakadayaha, they have to, because they are a king, unless he takes sannyasa and walks away, he has to do his duty. So, ashrama, he is a grahastha. He has a family and he has to discharge the duties of a grahastha. And he is a kshatriya, therefore discharge the duties of a kshatriya. And he's already a king, therefore what to talk? He has to do whatever a king has to do. So, is free will involved in Janaka's actions? Well, sure. I mean, he's talking, he's doing, he's engaging, he's directing, he's telling his ministers what to do, what not to do. Everything is going on. Free will is there. Seems to be there very much. But that free will is really not that free because he is doing what is supposed to be done. Not supposed to be done. Free will means completely free. Person is doing. I have to do my duty. I do my duty. So that's why duty is important in our lives also. And so, Janakadayaha. And so, prarabdha karma is there for the wise person. For all of us, karma yoga decides. We allow karma yoga to decide what we do. Dharma, adharma to decide what we do. Antah-karana-shuddhi to decide what we do. Should I do this or should I not do this? Right, wrong, then next step. Will it help me in my journey? That question we ask. And what about Arjuna? Arjuna has a role to play. Okay. He's not a king. Arjuna was not a king at that time. Still, little war, just constant bickering and battling going on all the time. But he happens to be the de facto leader of the Pandavas. People wanted him to lead. He may say, no, I'm not a leader. I don't want to be a leader. Sorry. It doesn't work for some people. So Swamiji talks about 3 types of leaders. Okay? 3 types of leaders. One is this opportunist. The person sees an opportunity and then says, okay, I put myself and then I create something and maybe build a temple or community, some other activity. And then the person says, floats an idea, and then many people buy that idea. And then that person becomes a leader. And they may do good work, but oftentimes it's a need for fame, name, fame. Nothing wrong by itself, nothing wrong. But that's how it is. That's how it works. That is one type of a leader. Recognizes an opportunity and maybe has some qualifications, became a leader. Second type of leader is like the types of Hitler. Idealist. So some ideals they have. Some ideals. I am the superior race. I am part of this race called Aryan race. Okay, it's an ideology. And these idealists are they are dangerous people. Because they believe in certain things and they have conviction. 100% conviction is there. And they will implement that. And so these people are pretty much dangerous. They are willing to kill, destroy. My race is more superior. My country is the greatest. My culture is the greatest. My culture is good. It's all right to say my culture is great. I love my culture. but I want to impose that on everybody else. That's where the rub comes. Correct? Everybody else should be like me. Eliminate all these people who don't subscribe to Allah. I have to say these words because these days it's happening. All kinds of stuff is happening. It's all coming, knocking on our doors. So those days, yeah, you can't mention other religions' names and all that. What mention other religions' names? Love jihad is a big problem all over. So our girls are all, we have to protect our girls. I talk about love jihad in my classes to youth, college students, and they acknowledge. They say, yes, uncle, there is a problem. How do we deal with it? They say, we have this dialogue with parents. I have this dialogue with college students. We need to talk. It's all happening. They have a big roster. They know every community. There are people who are keeping track of all the girls, which school she's going, which college she's going, everything they know. What is her background, family background, and how to trap this girl. This is what they're doing. This is not, don't think this is some fantasy or something like that. This is real. So this idealist is my culture is great and I will impose my idea on everybody else. And he's ready to kill everybody else. So these modern religions, neo-religions are all coming in this category. This category. How do you know that? Well, they themselves say it. What do they say? Well, they say, you are going to hell. That's how it starts. I'm going to heaven. You are going to hell because you're not worshipping my God. Okay? Then what should I do? Okay, go ahead. Allow me to go to hell. What's your problem? I'm ready to go to hell. What is your problem? Okay? No. It's my problem. It is my problem. I must save you. This is where problems happen. They are the ones who are saying it. They are the ones who are imposing it on me. So those people all come in this category of this idealist, so-called leader, and who say they know everything and they are the greatest and they impose it on others. Then there is there's the third type of leader. And Arjuna comes in that kind of leadership. What is that? Okay. So what type is that? The person that is not doesn't want to be a leader or anything. That the person may not even know he is a leader, but people look up to that person. People look up to that person. People recognize what is dharma, adharma. People recognize who should be my role model. We know who our role model should be. And that doesn't go around saying, you should follow me, you should do this, I must be this, etc. No. And people tell him, you must stand for elections. You must stand for elections. And it took Swamiji to tell Modi ji that you must lead the country. That is how he ended up here. And so that's the kind of person doesn't know his or her own greatness, not known. Somebody has to come. They say Hanuman did not know how great he was, right? So they had to tell him, you know who you are? You don't know. You are Vayuputra. You can fly, man. Do it. Try it. Really? I can fly to Lanka? Yes, you can. Go. And then somebody has to tell him that. So that's the kind of leader here that Arjuna was. And so he is reminding here. Let's see what Krishna said here. Let's translate this shloka. Let's split padacheda. Karmana eva. Shloka number 20. Karmana eva hi samsiddhim asthitaha janakadayah lokasangraham eva api sampashyan kartum arhasi. Okay, I don't know how it is transliterated in your books, but if they're not split, then this is the way to split it. Okay, let's see this. Okay, Janakadayaha. These kings like Janaka, hey Arjuna, there were kings, you know Janaka very well. And those people gained some siddhi. Some siddhi means moksha. They gained some siddhi, they gained moksha by doing what? Karmana eva astitaha. By leading a life like you and everybody else lead life. By being a king in his case, just by being in life itself, leading a proper life, they gained moksha. They did not say, run away this, I want to wear a kashaya vastra, this, that, I want to become sannyasi. All nothing. They led a proper life, they got moksha. Okay. And then, so let's, and then loka sangraham eva api sampashyan kartum arhasi. Kartum arhasi. You qualify to, you deserve to do things what? Loka sangraham eva api. Do things. If your things you are enlightened, then continue to do it for the benefit of society. Loka sangraham. Correct? Okay, you may be enlightened, but continue to help others. You're still living, you're still alive, you still have your faculties intact. Help. Use it to help others. That should become your life. Hey Arjuna. So let's see this. Let's translate this now. Indeed, comma, he. Indeed, he. By action alone, comma, karmana eva. Indeed, by action alone, comma, Janaka and others, Janakadayaha, gained moksha, gained liberation, gained freedom. Samsiddhim asthitaha. Okay. Indeed, by action alone, Janaka and others gained moksha. Full stop. Also, comma, api. That word api is there in the second line. Also, by merely seeing the okay, by merely seeing the desirability of protecting the people, merely by seeing the desirability of protecting the people from wasting away, from falling into unbecoming ways. Okay, because sampashyan and all, some words Krishna has used here, and loka sangraham. So helping people basically, also by merely seeing the desirability of protecting the people from doing wrong things, you ought to perform action. Kartum arhasi. Loka sangraham eva api sampashyan kartum arhasi. Looking at the need for your role in this yagnya. What is your role? Hey, if you run away from here, people will also run away. People will think this is the right thing to do. Come to a battlefield and then walk away. Now, you do what is to be done. They're watching you. You are their leader, de facto leader. Okay. So, for that reason also, you do. So, indeed, by action alone, Janaka and others gained liberation, gained moksha. Full stop. Also, comma, by merely seeing the desirability of protecting people from doing wrong things, you ought to perform action. So, and next shloka is there. There also he's going to continue this thread, and he's going to talk about why it's important for a leader especially to do the right thing. He's going to give that reason in the next shloka number 21, which we will do in the next class. Om swasti prajabhyah paripalayantam nyayena margena mahim mahishaha go brahmanebhyah shubhamastu nityam loka samasta sukhino bhavantu kale varshatu parjanyah prithvi sasyashalini देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितः ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतङ्गमय ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ